Most of the materials that we use in day-to-day life have almost similar components, but the internal structure and the arrangement pattern varies. For example, if you take skin, human skin, it has got a protein with some silicates, and the glass which I am wearing is also a kind of silicate, and the soil which we see is also a kind of silicate. But you can see the difference between these three. The skin is very flexible and is regeneratable. The soil is very rough and has got several constituents inside it. And the glass which I am wearing is also a kind of silicate. It is ground silicate and it has got beautiful optical properties. Likewise, you'll see that several properties change. And what we study in chemistry is the purest form of the materials. So let us have a look into the material science of the solid state. Generally, if we hear about solid state, we think of some boxes and some crystals, some angles, and it's quite not at all interesting. But let me tell you that without solid state, you will not be watching this video, because the OLED screen or the crystalline material that you are holding in your hand as mobile phone or tablet or notebook is purely due to the development of the solid state. Here I am going to share the screen in which I will discuss about the nature of solid states. So you have this in the, most probably in unit 5, I have this nature of solid states. Nature of solid state. Already we have seen that the nature is about, is all about solid, liquid, and gas. These are the three materials which we have been, these are the three phases, okay, which we have been studying from our school days. But apart from this, we have some developed phases, like for example, 1, 2, and 3. Now you have 4, 5, and 6 phases. That is, the next thing is the plasma, and the next thing is fermions, and then you have bosons. Unfortunately, we have not updated our syllabus, but these are the six states of matter. Particularly when you have chemistry, you should know that it is connected with the reactivity, what all things react, what things do not react. Therefore, if they do not react, how much stable they are, reactivity, stability. And then if it is reactive, what is its mechanism, how it reacts, what is its mechanism, and how it reacts. This is what we study. And then finally, we conclude it with some properties. Always we study the properties which later go on for the application. By studying properties, I'm going to tell you the two things that come out from this. If you have the properties of materials, they can be classified as the drug and a material. Chemistry பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ரெண்டு அப்ளிகேஷன்ல தான் முடியும். எந்த ஒரு இது எடுத்தோம், ஒன்று மெட்டீரியல், ரெண்டாவது ட்ரக். So this is, you know very well, it's bio applicability, and all those enzymes and proteins and amino acids, ligands, drugs, pharmacophores, etc., they go into that. In this material, you have the purest form of the substance. Purest form of substance. Let me tell you how pure it is. If you have soil, it is very rough, and it also consists of SiO2 molecules. But what we do is we just melt it we remove all the impurities and then bring it into glass. When you bring it into glass, it is also a silicate. I mean, that is, it is also SiO2. So what difference do you find between this SiO2 and this SiO2? What is the difference? The difference is this one is amorphous and this one is crystalline. Well, in the bio example, you can say sugarcane is an amorphous solid as well as liquid. But once what you do is you send it to the factory, there they remove all the impurities, then they purify it, and you get the sugar in the crystalline form, sugar cubes in the most crystalline form and the most purest form. As long as you do not bring the crystalline form, you will not get the property of the substances. Okay, so with this introduction, keep in mind that solid state isn't something very boring. If there is no solid state, there aren't any material with which we are working, and particularly the mobile phone screens, particularly the batteries, particularly the cells, and the most important thing is the quartz that we have in almost all the small round tablet-like cells. Without the development of the solid state, this is not possible. Okay, so based on the different two types, they are classified crystalline and amorphous solids. And in the crystalline solids, those are those that have a typical geometry. So here you will study geometrical, and one of the most basic example is I'm telling you the simple cube. In such type of solids, there are definite arrangements of particles, that is the atoms or molecules or ions, throughout the three-dimensional network. I will tell you what it is, three-dimensional network. If you have only in 2 dimensions, then it is not at all a kind of crystalline substance. But unless you have change in the planes, you will get different properties. And those examples are given as the sodium chloride, quartz, diamond, etc. What are the properties of these crystalline solids? They have a sharp melting point and start melting when it reaches a particular temperature. These shape of crystalline solids are definite and having to arrangement of the particles. That is, you will study how it is simple cube, body-centered cube, face-centered cube. I may be telling you these things in the future classes. They show cleavage property. That is, when they are cut, and a cleavage means it has to split. And the edge of sharpness, they split into 2 pieces, and the newly generated surface are smooth and line. Okay. They have definite heat of fusion. That is the amount of energy needed to melt a given mass of the solid. Heat of fusion, heat of formation, heat of sublimation. All this come under thermodynamics. And the best thing a student can learn about chemistry is this application part. When you study solid state, keep in mind that other disciplines are also very important. Because, unless you connect all this inorganic with organic, organic with physical, you will not be learning a thing. It will just remain as a part of the syllabus and a part of the examination. But the motive here will be to learn a few things and keep in mind. And I would suggest that from each class, you store some information. You store some information. What information did I get in this class? 2 information, 3 information, 4. Okay. As far as you get the information, you keep in mind, that will help you study those things. Crystalline solids are anisotropic, and keep in mind, we'll study anisotropic here, which means their physical properties are like electrical resistance and refractive index show different values, and they are measured with different directions. ஒரு டைரக்ஷன்ல ஒரு ப்ராப்பர்ட்டி இருக்கும், இன்னொரு டைரக்ஷன் இன்னொரு ப்ராப்பர்ட்டி இருக்கும். அதுதான் amorphous. Crystalline அப்படி கிடையாது. Okay, so I'll give examples also at the end of this lecture. Just to keep in mind the flow. Okay, concentrate on this. On the basis of this, chemical bonding in crystalline solids are classified into 4 types: molecular solids, ionic solids, metallic solids, and covalent solids. And maybe this is, you can say this is not in your syllabus, but keep in mind, you have this organic, nowadays you have organic molecules. We call this as organic light emitting diode. Earlier, diode used to be, this stands for diode. Diode allows unidirectional flow of current. It used to be made up of silicates, but now you have organic. There are so many organic molecules which have. That is, the cell phone which you have, the touch screen which you have, it would not have been possible if OLED was not developed. Light emitting diode was developed, and you have a very good cell phone, you touch it, and all the resistance and the conductance, it depends on the diode that you have there. Okay, so this will be called as the molecular solids, and these are the advanced disease. Then you have what is called as the ionic solids. Ionic solids, just remember they are these salts. The most common is the table salt that we have as a sodium chloride with some combination of potassium chloride also. And the sodium potassium pumping inside the, giving rise to life inside the biosystem, life in the biosystem. Okay, then the third one is the metallic solids, all metals. You know the properties of the metal, the iron and the transition metals, how strong they are, how ductile, how much malleable. It's all purely because of this. And one most important property is the magnetic property. Some have very good magnetic properties and some do not have. And then the last, you have other solids which are covalent solids in nature. And the examples of all this, I'll be giving. Just this will be a mixture of all those things. And in higher chemistry, you will be having these covalent solids as something called as the non-stoichiometric solids. That is, there are some lanthanides and actinides. Okay, you will have a combination like this: lanthanum 2.5, yttrium 3.7, oxide 8.6, and magnesium 2, like that. Some kind of compounds in which you have real numbers like 2.5, 3.7 are called as the non-stoichiometric compounds. These are very good crystals. Okay, once you have the crystals, you'll have very good optical properties. Okay, and you will have very good magnetic properties, magnetic and electrical properties. I'll tell you how that is. Okay, and here is the anisotropy in crystal. You can see that anisotropy in crystals means, isotropy. Apina, isona same. Okay, isotropy is same property. Tropo means, it's the top of the geometry. Isotropy, same. Isotope, isomer. Okay, and in chemistry also we have another thing: homogeneous, homolog, heterolog opposite. Okay, so if you can see that, let us take this as some kind of sodium and some kind of chlorine molecule. You can see along this C and D axis, you encounter only these two large molecules. Okay, so if you have an electrical property, it is a different thing. Okay, and along B, you can see that this is what you encounter along B. Small molecules. Okay, here you have small molecules. Even though this is a very good crystal, the measurement of property along this is different from the measurement of property along this. Therefore, it is called as the anisotropic molecule. But that is not the same with the this is not the same with amorphous substances. Amorphous is not pure form. Okay, in the crystalline forms, you can change. One thing you can see is we call it as a vector. Well, some properties are vector, that is the direction-based properties are there. Okay, that we will leave it. But here you can see the amorphous solids and similar to that of liquids. Okay, due to a difference in arrangement of constituent particles, the two types of solids differ in their properties. So this is the arrangement. You can see that here it is a kind of hexagonal arrangement. Okay, here it is not. It's different. So it is disorder. And here you have ordered arrangement. SiO, SiO. Okay, that is this. This particular picture gives you an idea about the, should I say, types of the solids that is having certain behavior like liquids also. In fact, solids, are also sometimes called as the liquids. Okay, solids are liquids with high density. So now by this time we are now able to find out what is amorphous in nature. Amorphous substances, roughly called as they are impure. Okay, crystalline, pure. Okay, this is by means of arrangement of atoms. Arrangement of atoms. That is geometry. That means these amorphous do not have proper geometry. Okay, so that is the structure of amorphous solids given there, and you can see that this particular slide, I'm just showing how arrangement of atoms can give rise to the same thing. Carbon can exist as coal. Carbon can exist as graphite. Carbon can exist as diamond. Carbon can exist as fullerene. These we call it as the allotropes. Okay, what is happening here? The carbon, that is there. If the carbon is arranged in a very rough manner, okay, no arrangements, then it becomes coal. Then it becomes coal. Okay. Suppose if the arrangement is a structure like this, okay, network structure, you call it as the arrangement is like this. We have carbon here, another carbon here, another carbon here, and in the stereochemistry, you might have studied the wedged structure like this. Another carbon here, another carbon here. This angle, you have got 109 degrees and 28 minutes. We call it as the tetrahedral angle. In the angle அப்படியே போயிட்டே இருக்கும். Throughout it, the tetrahedral angle will be maintained. C. All this will be 110 degree, roughly 109 degree 28 minutes தான். இன்னும் ஒரு 32 மினிட் போட்டிங்கன்னா உங்களுக்கு 110 வந்துடும். Okay, all this will be 110 degree in a three-dimensional manner that will give rise to something called as the hard diamond. You know the property of diamond? Now compare coal with diamond. Compare coal with diamond. Coal is amorphous. Diamond is crystalline. Coal is amorphous and diamond is crystalline. Now you judge the value of why we need to study the solid state. That is to bring out the purest property of the substances, purest form of the substance. Okay. Likewise, there is one more property that exists. The carbon that is existing like this, without any three-dimensional structure. So this is also carbon, this is also carbon, 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 carbon. Here you have a carbon in a different directions. If this is X, this will be Y, and this will be Z directions. Mono direction la irukum. In the side, on the side, all the directions are there. Then you have it a 3-dimensional. But if you have same, all this will be in a single plane. Okay, all this will be in a single plane. Plane அப்படின்பது 2-dimension இருக்கும்போது these planes will be held together by, important point is, non-covalent bond. Covalent bond அப்படின்பது ஒரு ஆட்டம் ஒரு எலக்ட்ரான் கொடுத்து இன்னொரு ஆட்டம் ஒரு எலக்ட்ரான் கொடுத்து மியூச்சுவலா நடந்ததுன்னா கோவலண்ட் பாண்ட். அப்படி இருக்கும்போது அயானிக் பாண்ட்ல வந்து ஒரு எலக்ட்ரான் ஒரு சைடு போச்சுன்னா ஒரு பாசிட்டிவ் வரும் ஒரு நெகட்டிவ் வரும், அதுதான் அயானிக் பாண்ட். The non-covalent bonds and non-covalent forces that do not conform to these bonds, these types are known as the non-covalent forces. Today's chemistry is entirely dependent on the non-covalent forces. In the biochemistry, you will have hydrogen bonds and you will have van der Waals bonds. These bonds extend by more than 1 to 3 angstrom units. Therefore, what happens there is that the properties that are explained by means of the covalent forces cannot be explained by means of some non-covalent forces. That is, the non-covalent forces that exist in several directions. Okay, these lines, dashed lines which you are seeing, these dashed lines are known as the non-covalent bonds, and these non-covalent bonds, they give rise to several forces. They give rise to several forces, and these are known as the non-covalent forces. Apart from this, you can see that I'll have one more example of the fluorine, which is a crystalline substance. I am going to show you the image of that. The fluorine molecule, it is having a image like that of a football, and it is also an allotrope. Okay, let me just import it and show you how the fluorine molecule. Just slide it and see. Fluorine molecule is the fourth one. Here it is. This is one. This is an allotrope which completely consists of the fourth allotrope of hydrogen, of carbon. Okay. All this will be C, 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 C. Okay. You will wonder that there are some certain pi bonds. Okay. Because you have come to the final year, probably you are third year students, you must keep in mind that earlier we had only aromatic compounds have pi bonds. Okay. But now you have even carbon and non-aromatic compounds having pi bonds. That is, electrons with pi symmetry. Electrons with the pi symmetry. Okay. So this shows that by changing the arrangement of the atoms, you are going to change the entire property of the molecules. Now let us come to the examples of all this. What happens between the crystalline types of solids are there. So the basic difference, I'm going to just read them. They have definite characteristic geometrical shapes for crystalline substances, and amorphous, they are irregular. Okay. Irregular, it means they are haphazard and not very uniform throughout. And then the next point is the melting point. They melt at sharp and characteristic temperature. They melt over a range of temperature. Sometimes it is 30 degree, next time it will be 40 degree. But this crystalline substance will be the same thing. And then this ductility and malleability, what we call as cutting. With a sharp edge tool, they split into 2 pieces, and newly generated surface and plain and smooth. Okay, these give irregular surfaces. Then the fourth point is a nature. They are anisotropic in nature and so called as the true solids. They are isotropic in nature and called as the pseudo solids. Pseudo means false. Pseudo potential means it is called as the false, but at sometimes it is needed to mention those things. Okay. Order and arrangement of the constituent, they have long range order, they have short range order. And the uses include calcium crystal is used in making optical instruments such as prism. Amorphous silicon is used as photovoltaic material or conversion of sunlight into electricity. Amorphous silicon is a roughly crystal. It's also again, these things are SiO2 again. This is also SiO2. Prism also SiO2. But you get a very good prism, you get a very good glass, whereas you get some powdered substance like this. Some examples that you give here is PU aging FES and glass rubber and plastic acid. Okay. So another important property that I'm going to tell you about the crystalline property is that the arrangement, it gives rise to electrical property. I'll just mention about how suppose if I have, let me tell you, this is the sodium I'm taking and this is chlorine atom. I put all the sodium atoms there. Okay, if I put all the sodium atoms in ordered arrangements, this is equal to Na and this is equal to Cl. So you can see that I am arranging a two-dimensional array. So it will be called as the 2D array. Okay. However, if I start connecting them, so one sodium will be forming bond with only one chlorine atom. That means one sodium will bond with only one chlorine atom. One sodium will bond with only one chlorine atom. Bond with only one chlorine atom. Like this alone, you will see. But how actually we put the crystalline structure? We put a crystalline structure like a box. Appo in the lines alla waste. Okay. Over line to over line, these lines are indicative of distance. Whereas these lines are actual bonds, ionic bonds. Okay, so if I connect them with it becomes a cube. Okay, you get a cube. Okay, only these lines are bonds. These lines are only for indication purpose. Okay, suppose in the place of this, you have cubes. You can see that the 2D is converted into 3D by means of this box. By means of this box. Okay, now comes the trick. In the quads, I think you have been wearing watches. In the watches, you will have a small tablet-like battery, tablet-like cell, which we do not know. What actually it is a kind of silicate crystal in the purest form. The purest form. Okay. Now, what these people do is they put an electron inside. அந்த எலக்ட்ரான் உள்ள போடும்போது என்ன ஆகுதுன்னா இங்கெல்லாம் நல்ல என்ட்ரோபி இருக்கும், என்ட்ரோபி லோ இருக்கும், low entropy இருக்கும். Low entropy na, you see that there are, suppose if you just imagine your class, you have a class in which you have got 10 benches. Okay, in the 10 benches you have two different arrangements, and in each bench, if you have 4 students sits, you have a very perfect ordered arrangement of the students along the benches. What happens is, if all the benches are filled, a new student enters and he or she will not find a place to sit. So she will move from one place to another place to another. And because everything is ordered, you will not allow a 5th person to go and sit there. Okay, naturally it happens when everything is clean and neat. You want to keep it and you want to maintain it. Okay, the same thing is with the atomic level also. When everything is in the ordered pattern, nothing is allowed inside. Nothing is allowed inside. Okay, but what you are doing, you are putting an electron. ஒரு எலக்ட்ரான் இங்க போடுறீங்க. அப்படி ஒரு எலக்ட்ரான் போட்ட உடனே என்ன ஆகுதுன்னா, because it is a purest form, because it has got a crystalline structure, because it has got a very good ordered arrangement, it will not allow in its vicinity. இந்த இடத்துல வேணாம் அப்படி சொல்லி என்ன ஆகும்னா, இந்த எலக்ட்ரான் இந்த இடத்துக்கு புஷ் ஆயிடும். இங்க போனீங்கன்னா இங்கே கூட வந்து ஆர்டர்ட் இருக்கும். அப்புறம் எலக்ட்ரான் இங்கே புஷ் ஆயிடும். அப்புறம் என்ன ஆகும், இங்க இடம் இல்லை, இங்கேயும் ஆர்டர்ட் இருக்குது, எலக்ட்ரான் வந்து இங்கே போயிடும் மறுபடியும். ஓகே, எலக்ட்ரான் இங்கே போயிடும். Next, the electron will be pushed here, and then next electron will be pushed here. So, electron push ஆயிட்டே இருக்கும். What do you call the electron movement? Push ஆயிட்டே இருந்துச்சுன்னா என்ன ஆகும், அந்த மூவ்மெண்ட் ஆயிட்டே இருக்கும். எலக்ட்ரான் ஒரு இடத்துல இருக்கு. Electron movement is now what we call it as the electricity, electric current. That is why you have a small tablet. Okay, you put it in watch, it works like a cell, it works like a battery. How does it work? You have got a purest substance. In the purest substance, you are putting an electron. The electron is not allowed by means of the lowest entropy. It keeps on pushing. It moves from one place to another place, and when it moves from one place to another place, it constitutes electricity. Therefore, that electricity keeps the watches running, and the entire mechanism is taking place. Now you know it's a kind of defect. If it is in the purest form, it is in the purest form. But what you are doing, you are putting an electron. Okay. If it is already defective, if it is amorphous, the electron will find some place. ஏதாவது ஒரு இடத்துல எலக்ட்ரான் பார்த்து போய் உக்காந்துரும், amorphous இருந்துச்சு. ஆனா அது கிறிஸ்டலைன் இருக்கிறதுனால அந்த எலக்ட்ரானுக்கு எந்த ஒரு ஆட்டமும் இடம் கொடுக்கறதில்ல, சுத்திட்டே இருக்கும். Electronic movement is known as electricity or electric current. Movement of electron constitutes electricity. Movement of electron constitutes electricity. That is why crystal surfaces and the crystalline substances have got very good electrical property. When you just dope it, when you just impure it, you put some impure metal inside that, some impure electrons, some impure ion into that, it keeps on moving, and therefore you get electricity of that. So what happens if the quality is very good, the cell lasts very longer. But suddenly what happens to the quartz cell? Quartz cell எப்படி இருக்கும், இப்படி பேட்டரி மாதிரி இருக்கும். ஒரு 6 மாசம் போச்சுன்னா என்ன ஆகும், அந்த எலக்ட்ரான் சுத்திட்டே இருக்கும். எலக்ட்ரான் வில் பி மூவிங் இன் ஆல் டைரக்ஷன்ஸ். இந்த இடத்துல போயிட்டே இருக்கும். அந்த பார்டர்ல எல்லாம் கூட வரும், இந்த செல் பார்டர் இருக்கு இல்லையா, அதுக்குள்ள கூட வரும். அது எவ்வளவு நேரம் தாங்கும்? பிகாஸ் ஆஃப் வியர் அண்ட் டியர், தி பார்டர்ஸ் ஆர் வில் பிகம் வீக் ஆயிடும். வீக் ஆயிடுச்சுன்னா என்ன ஆகும், அந்த எலக்ட்ரான் எஸ்கேப் ஆயிடும். The moment the electron escapes from your crystals, the battery is dead. Battery is dead. Okay. So I think I've been able to explain to you the importance of the crystalline property. In the next class, we will see the more specific examples, how it is considered, the types of crystals and their uses, and how it is applied to the organic things. And I think we are going to see more about your syllabus. In your syllabus, you have downloads in the syllabus. You have next part is that you will have amorphous and solids, and then examples for cubic, BCC, FCC, Bragg's law, application, XRDT crystals. Okay, I'll just read them. I mean, I'll just deal with them one by one. We'll just deal with them one by one. But keep in mind that this is a very interesting subject. This has got its connectivity with most modern science, because material property வரலனா எந்த ஒரு பொருளும் very purest formல வராது. Purest formல வந்து ஆகணும் அப்படின்னா அது வந்து crystalline formல வந்தா purest form. எவ்வளவுக்கு எவ்வளவு pure form இருக்குதோ அவ்வளவுக்கு எவ்வளவு property அதிகமாகும். The value of that thing will be there. So as a student of chemistry, whether you prepare organic sample or inorganic sample, ultimately we will be asked to prepare the purest substance. Therefore, keeping a knowledge of crystal states becomes very essential. Thank you for listening. See you.